It's Alex Williamson here. I'm just giving you guys a bit of an update as I am back from the hospital. Fresh out. Still got to cut this off. Um, I had an infection in on the skin in my leg again. Uh, Part of it is probably that they think that I'm getting secondary infections because of one, my autoimmune condition, two, the medication that they have wanted to be treating me with my autoimmune issues with lupus and having an overactive autoimmune system. They've wanted to put me on several different medications, but each of which is over $2,000 out of pocket a month. So because of that, I haven't been able to afford it. And now there is a medication that's down around $600 or $700 a month. And because of just, life the way it is, we just can't swing quite that a month right now. But it's ended up costing us far more, so perhaps we need to start thinking about that. But I just wanted to hop on here really quick and let you guys know I'm okay. This is only the third time in the history of the channel that I haven't posted like anything in a full week, and it's really a bummer. I really feel like I let the channel down. Granted, I mean, I know I can't do anything about it more than try my best. But I wanted to get on here and let you guys know that I'm making it through this as best I can. I am thinking about all of y'all, and I'm still reading comments. I'm still going through stuff. A lot of people, it looks like, are finding old content and they're commenting on it like, "Oh, this was perfect timing. I needed this." And so I don't know why certain old videos are getting like pushed very hard by the algorithm, but they are right now, and I've done absolutely nothing differently. So, hopefully that continues. But I had some things lined up for this week. Out of all things, I felt bad that in June I missed a week, and that back in October I missed a week, and then the whole start of all of this, all the way back in July of last year, was when the last weekend of July, or the last few days of July, all the way into the first week of August, I spent 16 days in the ICU. Well, this is all still continuing from all that madness. And now I have finally gotten all the paperwork and insurance stuff worked out. And after 9 months of fighting it and appealing it, it took literally 6 appeals, two different advocate people that I had to get, and then wait for appeal, and then reject, and then appeal that, and then going to a different board, and yada yada. But anyway, so I got now a home uh, negative pressure thing for the wound on the bottom of my foot. I had a 22-inch wound on the side of my leg that went all the way to the bone, that was open for 9 days, like 8 full days, 9 calendar days. And it was supposed to only be open for about 4 hours. They were looking to see if the bone was infected and or any muscle, and then they were going to close it. Well, what happened was they uh, they were afraid to close it because they had inconclusive info from the swab they took, and basically ran a genetics test on real quick, some sort of quick test. I don't know if it's genetics, but it tells them, the class of bacteria within a few hours. So then they had to wait, and then they transferred me to the really serious hospital in our area. And by that point, even though I was on the critical care unit, and for a while I was even on, supplemental oxygen and IV fluids and antibiotics and, all that kind of stuff. They didn't, I was not in bad enough shape to warrant like being next in line for surgery, so they had to wait because there kept being shooting victims and car crash victims and people just in far worse shape as far as needing surgery in the Seattle area. So finally, on the ninth day, I got the surgery. They closed it up. The actual surgery on the side of my leg that everybody gasped at and said, like, that is the most horrifying wound I've ever seen. That looked like a fillet of fish. You know, it was like the length of a trout or a salmon, cut all the way to the bone from your ankle to your knee. Like, how did that heal up? Cutting through all that, that healed up fabulously. Within 2 weeks, they took the stitches out. It was good to go. What didn't is where I stepped on the glass bottle on the very bottom of my foot. That continued to have stone in it that when I stepped on the glass, rocks went in, little pebbles and dirt and debris got in there. And they never cleaned out the bottom wound. They only were concerned that the infection had gotten into the bone through my ankle and foot and then had worked its way into my system. And that point, it was in my blood, it was in my brain. I mean, I was in big trouble. I was on what they call pressors, and my blood I almost died twice that night. So you guys know all about that stuff. That was a bad, serious time. But the wild part is that none of this is related to the actual like gnarly surgery stuff. It's all secondary infections. And it's all these issues I've had with the autoimmune disease that I have, not allowing my heel to my foot heel to heal. It's had a hole in it that is literally this big around, right in the center of my heel, for now, since October. It was little, but it's been that exact same size and just getting deeper since December. And so finally we were like, things need to change. We need to, like, I don't care if insurance covers it. I'm just going to pay out of pocket, yada, yada. And so finally the last month we've started doing just do what the doctors say. And we've gotten, 2 opinions now. We were pretty firmly under the understanding that we were given really bad info on the first 6 months or so of this process. But long story short, right now I am on a sulfa antibiotic drug, a gram positive one, a gram negative one, a broad spectrum one, doxycycline, and then I'm also on amoxiclav, and they gave me IV ceflexin. So I have just had my stomach torn apart this week. I really wanted to post on here. I really wanted to get new episodes of biotopes up onto the YouTube channel. I have lots of ideas. I have lots of readings. I've been keeping up in the news on fish world events and things. And I'm wanting to thank all of you for all your support, but I don't know. I'm at a crossroads here where I'm like, I don't want to just keep updating you guys when I have the next inevitable issue. I've had to turn down a bunch of speaking engagements that I had planned to fly out and go to. I still am going to try my very best to get to St. Louis and speak in October because my father and or my wife agreed to go as my companion fare. I have like a Sky Miles account so I can bring somebody, basically, and it'll cover their cost, and then they can push the wheelchair through the airport or whatever. But yeah, the medications are brutal, and then I am not taking anything other than 200 milligrams every 6 hours of ibuprofen, and I don't have diabetes or anything, so I don't have neuropathy of the bottom of my foot. So I'm feeling all of this, and it's almost bone deep again right now because they had to go back in every time it gets infected, they have to go back in and re-excavate any tissue that is dead or that is infected and can't be saved. And every surgeon's different with the way they do that. But I spent the last 3 days, basically 2 days in the hospital. Then I got to come home for a night. I made a video actually in that, just a short, just like a 2 minute short, um, and or rather I edited it, and then I had to go back in for more antibiotics by IV, or they had wanted to keep me for 5 days in the hospital, and I just mentally could not take 5 days in a hospital again right now with everything going on the last year. I'm trying to keep my spirits up. You guys do keep my spirits up. My fish keep my spirits up. I know that, I got to do things, keep things good and happy for them. But, I'm also still thinking about the isopods that I want to get out to everybody. I just need to get the breather bags. Like, I got a batch of breather bags, and then literally friend was like, "I need breather bags because I need to move these fish." It was a long excuse, but basically, he had to go save a bunch of fish at a dental office, and so I said, "Yeah, sure, you can have the 20 breather bags." Um, but I think that's going to be the cheapest way to do the isopods when I ship them, is if we can do a bag that we can kind of just collapse down into, like, almost like a water balloon, or like a sandwich bag full of water, basically, and put it in a padded envelope or into the smallest size padded box, and send them while it's still nice this summer or early fall. And so yeah, anyways, let's see here. How's everybody doing? Who have we got in here? Uh, uh, do, 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 do. Anyways, mods, I don't know what just happened there. I don't. I was someone frustrated, like me talking about all the antibiotics I'm on or something, because yeah, you shouldn't be on antibiotics a bunch, but you also shouldn't die. And that's the stakes we're talking about here. We're talking about infection in my bone marrow that could then go to my spinal column and or my brain and stuff like that. So, yeah, you shouldn't be on prednisone for 10 years either. The insurance company shouldn't deny the medication that could save my life, that costs $400 in every other country other than Canada and the United States, where it costs $6,000. It's all a frustrating process, and I know that better than anyone. Everybody should take care of their own health according to themselves, but I just wanted to hop in random late night, wanted to tell you guys that I'm thinking of you, that I'm feeling guilty about the fact that I, have been sporadic, but I had an interview lined up on Friday that we were hopefully going to do with Andres Ryan of Biochar that just closed down in Florida. Very intelligent guy. He's the one who taught me how to breed panda loaches. Not gonna lie, I only bred like 5 or 6 of them, but I did get them to spawn due to his tip, which was to take bubble tea straws and jab them in the substrate completely up and down. And he figures these things out by just scrutinizing video from the location, and he even had gone and paid people to film in different lakes and rivers around the world during spawning seasons to try to understand the exact, like, physical layout and or the behavior. It's just like Ivan Mikolji told me that the diamond tetra in captivity, it doesn't breed very well unless they use ovopressor medication and ovopreme and those things. So stuff that makes them basically like growth hormones. Well, it turns out all those diamond tetras, what they have in common is they live in one endemic river valley, very steep hills. And there are these angular rocks that fall down the hillsides over the eons. And this river that, or I mean this lake that a lot of them live in, is very, 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 very quickly drops off. And at the edge, there's these piles of where slides of basically like rock. It looks like broken up, rock like that, but angular, has fallen down. And then the trees that try to grow out of the hillside, because it's Colombia, or Venezuela rather, they eventually fall into the water. So what they need to spawn is they need a shadow of a log or some sort of area where the females can hang out all together and feel safe in a group of like 50. And then the males will do their dance in the sunlight while the females are well hidden from any predators in the shade. And then the males go over to those rocks that make up the bank of the, whether it's a lake or a creek that's attached to the lake, the original region. And the females then one by one go select a male and follow them to their little, not nest, but like nook on the rock. And like we wouldn't know these things, but they were able to like build these miniature ecosystems by going out and watching the real thing happen years and years ago in the 60s and 70s. And then when a landslide destroyed Lake Valencia's habitat, nobody could have gone out and figured that out. So it's so important that we had that info. So it's really cool to talk to people like that. But both Ivan's supposed to come on the show to talk about his new book on aquatic and wetland plants of the Orinoco, his second book. Really beautiful, really incredible book. 30 years in the making. And then we're also supposed to see Andreas Ryan from Bioaquatics. Also, Adam Ragusia talked about coming on because I want to talk to him about like his experience becoming part of the fish hobby, and as a guy who leads food and he's a creator and a podcaster of whatever 15 years now or whatnot, and TV show. He makes media, that's very, very popular, millions and millions and millions of views, maybe even billions now. And I wanted to get his take on trying to become part of someone learning from the fish community when he's obviously a very smart guy. He used to be a professor, used to be a teacher, and his take on what could be different, what could be more inclusive, what could be slightly better in our hobby. So that's another thing that I have coming up on the channel. Hello, honey. And my wife just got home. I was waiting on the porch for her. So anyways, guys, I can talk for a few more minutes. And also, Dagmar Hegarty, thank you so much for the super chat. That's very sweet of you. It is not necessary, but it is very sweet of you. Thank you. Basically, I just wanted to, I couldn't tell you guys if I had the energy to do a full live stream. And I don't know what time of night or day or morning or night, everything's on its head right now because I've been in a hospital with no windows, like in the ER department, 2 days, the last 3, and then at home I've been asleep in the middle of the day and then awake all night, had 103 fever. It's been a process, but you guys, I have a lot of things that I'm excited about. There's a lot of new fish being discovered, and I'm really trying to decide with the channel the notion of do I get back to a place where we're a little more lo-fi and I can churn out more content, and there might be a mistake here or there, but it's more conversational, like I just come out and do it, or do we like the more polished episodes? And right now with the algorithm and with the setting and the way things are, unfortunately, it seems like if I take the time to edit an extra 5 or 10 hours of infographics and making like photoshopped images and doing this or that to try to make it a visual learning experience, something that every 15 seconds at most, there's a new moving image on the screen. Like these are conscious things I've been working on for several years now. And speeding up the pace, cutting out ums and re-recording audio, 4 or 5 times. Um, all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to decide, does it even matter when, like, I'm not even getting shown to a lot of you guys? I know some of you, including, I know Nancy, and thank you, Nancy, by the way. But I know Nancy and Asha and Steven, and you got lots of great people in here that I've known you guys for years, and you guys are around like predictably, and that is lovely. I love that. But I just wanted to kind of talk about that out loud to the world because otherwise just nothing gets made for a week or two, and I start a video at one point and then it may take a week, it may take even longer, especially when I get sick. One little thing can put a wrench in it, like if I'm waiting to get clearance to use a photo, for instance, or if there's a video clip of a fish spawning that's a rare fish that I just am not going to get my hands on, or to be honest, I'm only keeping 16 tanks, so I just don't have a huge collection of fish to be b-rolling with right now. I don't have a bunch of aquascapes. I have basically 2 or 3 tanks that are aquascape E or pretty. um, and so I am, yeah, I just that part is frustrating because when the channel is tracking well, when as a community people are excited and engaged and they're like, let's do things, and not just the folks that you guys don't get it twisted. You guys like Steven and Nancy, you guys make the freaking channel exist. You guys are the core of the fish fam across many channels. Like we hold together for each other, and we're the reason why there is an online community, and I can't thank you guys who are far more active than even I am about the social continuity amongst each other and stuff. But it's things like, doing a video, teaming up with Stephen P 2003, about plants. He did his part. I just haven't put the pieces together. I got a lot of loose puzzle pieces kind of floating around, and it's just that, like, maybe when I'm sitting in the ER is when I should start, editing those pieces and all the B-roll and doing the voiceover and stuff. But it's just, when you feel like garbage, it's hard to want to do anything that's a commitment of 3 or 4 hours or whatnot. Um, so it kind of happens in hour-long spurts, and that is a very different vibe than somebody who can sit down and do the way I like to, which is manic creation, where one day I will make 2 or 3 really good videos, maybe 16 hours on one, take a break for 2 or 3 hours, and then start another 16-hour project, and then maybe even one more after that. And then for a week, I don't do anything other than a live stream here or there and hanging out with my wife and my cat and relaxing. And well, I read every day, a lot of the day. I don't turn on my TV ever, unless we're watching a movie together, intentionally, my wife and I. But that's because I'm stuck at home. I am homebound. But now the big news, the good news with the channel is I also have a home nurse. I have a home nurse, and that will hopefully help me prevent me getting more of the secondary infections. Because what's worse for an infection or somebody with a compromised immune system than going to a wound care clinic, which is for people, and it happens to be, unfortunately, nothing against these people. I love that there's a spot that's treating them, but there happens to be a lot of unhoused people and things like that too. So there's some pretty gnarly pathogens and things that they see there and that they work with there. And I'm sure everyone does their best, but a hospital's a dirty place, you know? And so I'm really hoping that the home care stuff will also help with that as well. But when it comes right down to it, I have these periods where finally I get nursed back up to, for my normal life, a very functional, healthy period, other than maybe I can't walk because of this everlasting wound on my leg. If I can get that fixed and it's no longer a point of entry for infection, I should be able to get right back to the way, I was the last, say, 5 years. Yes, did I have health problems? Yeah, but I was able to travel. I was able to go collect fish and things like that. I was able to lose, and they were able to tell me again that right now I am holding at least 60 gallons of water as fluid in my face and in my arms and skin and stuff from specifically the steroids that they have me on. And they're writing my insurance company now. My doctors have now diagnosed me with steroid induced edema, and there's some other things too that they're basically warning that can cause heart disease and other things later on. So, like, hey, approve this medication finally. It's been 6 years. So, long story short, I am feeling hopeful, but I am extremely spent each day. And if you've never been through it or fought for somebody else, it is mind blowing how many hours you can spend on hold or talking to the hospital administrator, then a patient advocate. Then you find out that they're not even paid, they're just there to kind of hear you vent. And then you have to get to the financial advocate, and then you have to find out who's the patient side one versus the one at the hospital that can do anything. Then you find out that their manager is the one that, so it's all a learning process of the bureaucracy of everything. And then those processes are different at different hospitals. So if you have a specialist in one thing, anyways, it's not fish related, but um, if you've been there, and I'm sorry you've been there if that's the case. But I will try my best if tomorrow I am feeling better, or if it's Monday, it may be Monday, I don't know. But I still do have doctor appointments, kind of, like next week I've got 7. So I'm not out of the woods at all. And I am feeling really bummed because I thought I was. I thought we were kind of over all this. I thought we were done with this. And my body just flipped the script, and the thumbnail picture, I woke up and my legs were swollen, my tattoos were rejecting again. So what'll happen is all the lining on my tattoos will be interpreted by my body as a pathogen, and it will scar from the inside out and make a blood blister under the skin, and then it literally peels like a bad sunburn after that, and then it's extremely prone to infection. And I never thought I'd say I regret my tattoos, but I kind of do regret that this is going on, if it is that linked to the tattoo. So something to think about, because I had them for over 20 years with no problems. And the ones, ones up in my upper body, no problems. But the ones down in my lower body, all my leg sleeves, my tattoo pants, both legs are fairly well covered. All the shading that was in between all my line work is now gone. And it's absolutely crazy to think that, hundreds of hours of tattooing is just, it's gone. Like, you couldn't do that with the laser if you wanted to in a lot of cases. But in any case, you guys, I do really appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. Asha, I mentioned you. I don't know if you were in here already, but I was saying it's people like you, Dagmar, people like, you know, Nancy, and y'all know who you are if you've been here more than, a year or so, and y'all are consistently a part of the community. You guys make the world go round for this little community and this and the things we're into. So I just wanted to touch base, tell you that I am okay, and I apologize, and I don't like doing the like posts when I just like, sorry guys, I'm sick today. Like, I don't know how many times I can post that without it just sounding contrived. And so I don't want to post it anymore, and I don't exactly know how to communicate that. Because I think any of you guys who are real ride or die and or real people who know, I have 1,800 videos you can go watch, of time and love and dedicated thought that I put into it that are still hanging out here. And maybe I'll go back and kind of even tighten up that back catalog a bit more, delete some of the redundant or really shaky video stuff that's real bad. There's a lot of really badly filmed videos early on. Um, but all of that stuff, uh it's there for you guys, obviously. And I think about that when I think about, what am I doing of any use? I think that, like, I hope that, like, we as a community, both in the Discord, and I don't care if people aren't even hanging out in the Discord. I just want the documents section to be full of free educational stuff that people can use and learn from. I want to be able to share those links, those resources, those online encyclopedias, and whatever is out there in the world, that clubs and people put out there that is a free resource. Like, I want to be responsible for helping organize the accessibility of that. Uh, and yeah, thank you very much, Madame Lacrimosa. Randall Ben. Wait, I'm not sure I've seen them all. Yeah, I think you've probably seen quite a few of my videos, but yeah, there are 1,800 or 1,900 now. Some are 2 hours long, live streams. I don't promise anything profound on a live stream, but sometimes there's something very well researched that I just decided to do on a live stream and didn't want to edit into a video. It's stuff like that that I think about and I want to do more on. Last note is that I gotta go say hello to my wife and all that, but I also have like a more long-term issue that hopefully will overcome, and it'll be all right. I've got 2 kidneys, so I'm hoping that's the case. But the kidney cancer I have, they did detect some issues when I went into the ER for the infection. They did find some abnormalities in blood and stuff in a UA that I submitted, for them to test it all. And so I don't know a lot about the kidney cancer yet, but it's just been sitting there and it hasn't been growing fast. It just may mean I'm down a kidney, so maybe I'll be more hydrodynamic. I don't know. Just with my luck, I just don't want to give the one up until I absolutely have to. But obviously, we don't want anything to spread. So the ironic thing is, my dad had the same exact thing found 2 years ago, and they haven't removed yet either. They're still waiting. And basically, they told him when it grew 2 millimeters, that, or if it spread, that they would remove it. But that even doing a biopsy risks dislodging cells, basically, that then are too close to the lining of your bladder and your pancreas and all the other stuff in there. So I'm learning as I go, but there's still some big battles to come in the future, and I don't want to be selfish, but I'm going to lean on you guys as being a place where I can come to still educate. And I'll, I'll try my best to not like unload with my side of things all the time, because I do like this being an oasis to some degree of, all the lovely education and fish stuff that we do here. So, guys, I'm gonna get going, and I'm gonna go lay down again. I am really really weak this round of treatment, but I will be back for sure. I promise you that, and I appreciate you all just so much, and I hope you're all doing well. Sorry if I haven't gotten to emails or things that have come in the last week. I just haven't been in the right anything to deal with it all. But, thank you, you guys. You rock. And take care of your critters, your plants, your fish, your shrimp, your family, your friends, your community. And of course, take care of yourself, or you can't take care of any of that stuff. So, do those things, and I'll see you guys again soon. Much love. Take care. And goodbye.